If you don't get vaccinated, you're antisocial. This is what the Dutch Prime Minister and Health Minister told us. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself, but also for others. You do it for all of society. That's what I said. Today, this turned out to be complete nonsense. In a COVID hearing in the European Parliament, one of the Pfizer directors just admitted to me, at the time of introduction, the vaccine had never been tested on stopping the transmission of the virus. This removes the entire legal basis for the COVID passport. The COVID passport that led to massive institutional discrimination as people lost access to essential parts of society. I find this to be shocking, even criminal. Please watch the video until the end.
Voor u, mevrouw Small, heb ik de volgende vraag waar ik een duidelijk antwoord op wil. And I will speak in English so there are no misunderstandings. Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market.
This is scandalous. Millions of people worldwide felt forced to get vaccinated because of the myth that you do it for others. Now this turned out to be a cheap lie. This should be exposed. Please share this video.
Call hello, Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. You sincere brothers teaching the truth worldwide. You sisters listening and learning. Shalom to the election of Israel. And of course, Shalak Rayam to you. Damn demons working on the wrong hand side of this truth. Before we start, any of you brothers still asking questions about gematria and numerology, I just said it in my last talking video. We do not support, subscribe to, or endorse the study in occult sciences like of those that I just mentioned. Can't make it clearer enough. The simple reason is because it is left-handed magic, the practicing of arts that fall on the left-hand side of the Lord, to be specific. If you don't know, now you know. That is a no-no in dealing with this truth. Why? Most importantly, it is against the commandments of the Heavenly Father. And to point out the not so obvious, it goes in the opposite direction of edifying the flock with meat meant to lead to salvation. You don't get no simpler than that. Now, that being said, one of the most important prophecies that has yet to come to pass deals with numbers. So let's get it. We'll start at verse 16. And when I say yet, has yet to come to pass, specifically I'm speaking to it being forced as an implementation. Okay. Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Something else I also went into regarding my last video. When you go into the Hebrew, the word for truth is amath, where we get the word math today. The scripture says here in Revelation 13 and 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding. Understanding in what? This truth in the scriptures, how it applies to the world we live today, because these scriptures were written for the purpose of our future learning. The lot, i.e. responsibility we've been given, how it applies to our time in captivity, our duty to Israel as teachers, what Yahweh requires if you expect to see salvation through Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai's gift of faith, and what to look out for in this wicked system. All examples of possessing understanding. It goes on to say we are to count the number of the beast. Ergo, we should already have an understanding of the system of the beast, how it is being implemented and when it is being used, especially in our day-to-day, to enforce his being Esau and his system of control by deciphering the number being used. Is that fair enough to say? To be honest, I suspect it to be a Western world phenomena. And excuse me for my facetiousness, but with respect to how most place more emphasis in words than in the significance of numbers being used. And listen closely to what I'm saying, because for some reason it's easy to get what I say misconstrued. It seems like it is Western thought that strives a good word, on the separation of the two in its significance, where if you truly are using wisdom in the understanding of these scriptures, period, it's plain to see, especially the pivotal prophecies are made up in a balance of both word and number. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be. And of course, there's Yahushua rose on the 3rd day. The 1st to the 7th day in the series of creation is another example. 7 speaking to what we know to be completion. Matthew 27 and 45. Now from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. Now, why is that important? Not one thing in the scriptures is there just because. Genesis 1 and 13. And the evening and the morning were the 3rd day. And the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Which incidentally, you cannot do any of those things unless you go through the process of counting. So there is a just significance in the way numbers are used in the scriptures. The trouble is, if you know how to break down the understanding concerning, I don't know, the universal product code and how to identify a 666 using the lines. Again, speaking to the MOTB, but you can't grasp the understanding of, or the know-how to show how to truly observe the Shabbat and how the month coincides with the new moon, or identifying start and finish of the high holy days period. That's where you have a problem. And I get that it's easy to lose focus in this hell we live. Wicked hands, wicked world. You just can't entertain the escapisms being used by these other people outside of the temple in the hell we live. Right? Jeremiah 10 and 2 is the precept. Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen, which pretty much points to numerology and gematria as it's being used present day by the small hats. Both terms and how they are being practiced, which is why they are no-nos, I've went into a couple of times before for those who watch my lessons. Ergo, our comfort should always be where? In the scriptures. There is no need for any other ideology or any other book. And the reason why I'm going on about it is because no one here from GMS is trying to dumb you down. If you have the aptitude, the mental fortitude to follow certain topics like most who follow my posts do, if I might say, based upon the conversations I've had with them, which speaks to the range of topics I cover, all done through the power and spirit, because ultimately Yahweh's word does not go out void anyway. The prerequisites are and should always be: 1, you never transgress the law, statutes, and commandments willfully, which is an already given. That means being circumspect to the best of your ability, filtering through the scriptures and knowing how it applies. And 2, you maintain by keeping your eyes on what's most important, this truth, specifically the prophecies, which I do go into more than anything else, and not being Hebrews 13 and 9 is the precept, carried away by divers meaning ceremonies, rituals, practices, and such, and strange doctrines. And so going into Revelation 17 and 5, and how the Hebrew applies, is just another way we prove this truth. Again, in the Hebrew, a moth, also verifying the validity of the scriptures and the prophecies that are unfolding and coming to pass now. Can't tell me that 666 in Pfizer's logo is just a coinky-dink and it doesn't speak to Babylon's beast system, specifically Esau being made bare. Another precept and prophecy coming to pass. Going into Esau's perverse use of numbers is another way we prove who the devil is on the earth today, and solidifies our claim of what he intends to do concerning the prophecies, i.e. the MOTBRFIDCHIP. Nothing more and nothing less. Really, it's all about balance. Proverbs 11:3. And again, listen close. A false balance is abomination to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but a just weight is his delight. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Let me explain it like this. From what I hear from the elder apostles, it was High Priest Ahrayamlab, considered by them to be a great man. To be honest, only someone in the spirit could have brought out the 12 tribe sign and its breakdown. But what do I know? Incidentally, all men have stumbled from obstacles in the road at one time or another during their journey in this truth. All men. Romans 3:23 is the precept there. It was a High Priest Ahrayamlab who said, in order to understand the good, you got to understand the evil. Roughly paraphrasing. So I can't tell you about the gospel, meaning the good news, and not tell you what the bad news looks like and how to avoid it. That is 100% truth. That is the balance being spoken of here. For those who can receive it, that is Solomon returning as Yahweh Shai. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Why? Because we study and go and know all things. Both sides of the scale. That is the unction to know all things given. The integrity of the upright will always be the guide. Nothing is over until Yahweh says so. Shalom to the elder and shalom to the elect. Reminder to you brothers who listen as well as teach. No need to get all bent out of shape by topics that don't appeal to you, especially if your life experience doesn't relate to certain topics. Then by all means leave it alone. But just because it's not your cup of tea, don't discourage brothers from giving understanding to questions asked and the things they come across that they may be curious about, especially those who are more qualified to teach it. Because all things, no matter how unimportant you may regard them, can be filtered through the scriptures. I did a 30-year stint in the industry. If brothers didn't take the time to show me exactly how intricate Esau was playing, running rampant throughout that music, would I have made it to teaching the truth today? Only Yahweh knows. In any event, I digress and I do apologize, but that was the spirit. A few things to show you, Baba Kasha, and then we can close. Just a quick afterthought for those interested, especially with this news coming out here regarding Pfizer. I actually did a lesson on it before, and I actually broke down the same symbol. But let me say this: that is one way to always decipher, what is being presented to you by those who would propose to rule over us. Just check the symbols. The answer is always there. Now, going back into the MOTB, saying that, starting with let's go into the UPC code real quick, proving again Esau's fingerprint concerning the information I already brought out. At the very end of the day, we've covered what should be reminders to you now whenever you come across the logos and the symbols Esau uses, particularly in his corporate entities. You can never say you weren't warned about how far this devil will go to entice or trap and deceive you. Some of you may still be non-believers and still call us conspiracy theorists now, but that day is coming when you'll look back and say, man, them GMS dudes was right. Hopefully before it's too late. So I'm going to add this picture in post. Now, when you look at the UPC code on the right, it speaks to the European markets, and the lines in that 666 UPC code consists of, you guessed it, 13 lines. Again, there is Esau's fingerprint speaking directly to the MOTB. That being said, a quick look at the number of the mark and the argument some try to use concerning handwritten scripts of the scriptures that say 616 instead of 666. Let's look at the back of the American $1 bill, which is in rotation. Everybody in the world at one time or another have come across an American dollar bill. And I mean everybody in the world, which helps to prove which manuscript is being used here, if you line it up with the prophecy. Now, when you look on the foundation of the pyramid, you'll find the Roman numerals that add up to 1776. We can all agree we are captives of Rome today, which is America, also known as Babylon the Great. The same political system, same gladiator games. The stadium is the modern day Colosseum. Same devaluation in money, then inflation. In Rome, there was lead in the water. In America, it's fluoride. Same rules apply regarding higher learning. If you don't have an understanding of Latin or Greek, you'll never find yourself in the higher echelons of society. Can't be a lawyer if you don't know the Latin. Can't be a doctor without Greek or Latin either. Revelation 13 and 12 is a precept there. As I was saying, when you look on the foundation of the pyramid, the numerals there indicate America's so-called Day of Independence, and where most say really speaks to the day the Illuminati was founded. But when you take the letters the Romans initially used for their number system, D, C, L, X, V, I, not M, which, guess what, is the 13th letter in the alphabet, because it wasn't used until much later. Again, I'll put the picture up in post. You see exactly how John the Revelator speaks to the number of the beast in the Bible. 603 score, which is 60 and 6. There is no such thing as coincidences, family. There you go. You know what? Let's close with this. Proverbs 8. I want to go to Proverbs 8 and 12. We'll start at 11. And it reads, "For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions." Meaning you have to study and search out the definition of words, root words, the etymology of words, etc., etc. And clearly that includes the reasoning behind certain numbers, not to the extent that they take on life as their own and become their own doctrine, but in the effort of maintaining balance as they are written in the scriptures. Witty simply meaning smart. Inventions goes back to Strong's Hebrew 4209, defined as a power of devising, discretion, subtlety, in a good sense on the right-hand side, which is righteousness. Also from the Strong's Hebrew 2161, a plan, usually evil, machination, sometimes good, sagacity, wicked, device, discretion, intent, witty invention, lewdness, mischievousness, device, thought wickedly. I, wisdom, dwell in prudence. The wisdom is speaking of Yahweh Shai. He has always dwelled with prudence. The book of Revelation, where the description of the beast and his number is found, tells you itself the visions given to John concerning what would take place in these latter days came to him by way of Yahweh Shai. Isaiah 52 and 13 is a good precept. "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high." Proving again, this is speaking of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. "And find out knowledge of witty inventions." Simply put, wicked devices. He, again, Yahweh Shai, who we must appear before in judgment, all power was given unto him. 2 Corinthians 5 and 10. Matthew 28 and 18 are the precepts. "Searches the heart," meaning minds of men. He knows all your intentions, Israel, and if he finds you yourself prudent enough, he will sup with you and give you the answer and the things you desire to know. Also, the world is in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's judgment. Every day brings a new revelation of Eve's wickedness and the plan he's trying to execute. The passport is just another precursor to the Karagma, the implanted mark. And now you can't tell me, after this lesson, you ain't seeing it coming. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Bashem Akakwadash through the power and spirit. I hope you were edified. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach us 144% truth and rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Remember, no tests, no jab, and damn sure don't take that MOTBRFIDCHIP. Shalom. Shalom to the elect.